All right, Council Bluffs, Iowa, home of the best pizza in town. You might be wondering where you can find this good pizza, and that's at Pizza Counter. Pizza Counter has been around for over 20 years, and it's a family business that's still in the making today. Today, I'm going to be talking about three main points. Point number one is the startup. Point number two is why it tastes so good. And point number three is switching locations. Point number one. Startup happened with Kenny and Terry Abel opening the pizza restaurant in 1988. An article in the Daily Nopperell stated that the two young men went to Northwest Missouri State and worked at a pizza parlor while going to college. But that's not the entire story. My Uncle Kenny actually wanted to open like an automotive shop, but the cost in doing that was a little too expensive, so a pizza shop just was better in the end. The first location opened up on Veterans Memorial Highway and is still there today. In the Nopperell, there was an article saying that the Twin City Liquor was going to share their building with Pizza Counter. A few years later, the second location opened. After business started going, they opened the location on East Broadway. This location was there for more than about 29 years. So you might be wondering, what makes this pizza taste so good? And that's what brings me to point number two. What really makes the Pizza Counter taste so good is the homemade sauce and the homemade dough that's made fresh every morning. And as you can see here, there's a rough draft of the first menu that Pizza Counter ever had. And what you might not know is that Pizza Counter wasn't always a delivery business. It was just dine in and carry out. Pizza Counter has a variety of menu items, but it's also very simple as well. What they have is pizza, of course. That's a no-brainer. They have sandwiches, spaghetti, and hot wings. We also have our JoJo potatoes that people like very well. But one of our most important items is the calzones, or what we call pizza pockets. What's different from our pizza pockets than other places is that we actually put the sauce inside of the pocket instead of other places that call theirs calzones. You dip the sauce. Our menu hasn't changed much because there's really no need for it. There's no need to make it too complex, but just keep it nice and simple. This brings me to point number three. Just last year, about 2 years ago, according to the Nopperell, a bank called Centris, actually a credit union, bought our location. We had no idea this at the time, but when we went to go renew our lease for our building, our landowner just said, "We sold your building." So Pizza Counter had to go out and find a new building within about a year, and they moved to West Broadway in the Ogden Strip Mall. The move took place in June 2015, and we actually moved to all of our location in about a week, which is pretty crazy if you think about it, when we were only closed for 1 week during that time. So we didn't lose a lot of business, but we still lost quite a bit. During that time, we had to do all of our delivering and pizza making at the Veterans Memorial location. So it was pretty packed in there, and it was pretty far for delivery. So today we went over the startup and how Pizza Counter actually was originally formed. You learned about how pizza wasn't actually the first idea. We learned about why it tastes so good, and that being the homemade dough and sauce. And we also learned about switching locations and how the bank bought us out and made us move. Thank you.